Hello, welcome to that very professional start of me just pressing the button. This is Stuart Cook. This is for question 1. In what ways does your product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? I'm going to start on the front cover with as an example. I based my magazine on NME, Kerrang and Spin magazine. I have a copy of Spin here. This is Spin from August 2009 with cover star Wilco on it. And this was a fairly good template because my template had obviously just the one cover star, had the cover title just there, had the kind of it kind of used Spin's prototype with the cover line and main thing there, and it kind of just sweeps across like mine. There will be a picture of mine on the next slide from this video, so there you go, just for you. There were cover lines up and down there which just kind of not challenge, they just use the same text. What I did to challenge was I added in a free thing. I had a nice free sticker there on that side. It was a big circle showing that you could get a free download of a Biffy Clyro track, just because I thought that what some of the magazines were missing was something to really grab the attention, and nothing grabs the audience attention more than a big free thing. Believe me, I am an audience member of Kerrang. And yeah, so I did that. To challenge the forms and conventions, most of the magazines that I looked at had kind of a fairly bland text as their cover line. I mean, if you look at Spins, if you look at NMEs, they both work for the magazine, but they weren't particularly not in your face. Yeah, they were really reserved, whereas Kerrang's was very much in your face. It was very shouty, which kind of channels the audience of Kerrang. But what I wanted to do was, for my magazine, was to show kind of just something that stood out but wasn't too in your face. So I used a particular font. It was called Chalkboard, I think. I know it was called Chalkboard. When I say I think, I know it was called Chalkboard. And yeah, that was one of the ways I channeled it. I used a fairly standard colour over there. It was just a red, it was sans serif font. It was red with a black outlining just to make it stand out a bit more. Red was one of the main colours that I used just because it was it stood out, it worked with the photo that I'd taken. Like if you look at this, he's got a red suit on, he's got white writing that stands out across it. My cover star had a beige top on, so I used black and red to kind of push it forward a bit, have the picture in the background, and then had the text stand out. Another example was of the contents page. Get to the contents page in this one. That's their contents page, and what I did was I thought of the idea of having one picture and text, but it didn't work for my magazine. I thought this was a very good idea, but I challenged the way that Spin used it, and what I did was had one picture up in the top, one picture up in the bottom, and then a collection of pictures down here in this corner, so it's top, bottom. And the one in the bottom was a poster special collection, as seen in Kerrang quite often. So I developed that idea and made it further. It was a poster special of a certain band though, which Kerrang don't do very often. But when they do, I think you'll find that the magazine sales go up, because people like having a lot of pictures of the one band if it's a very successful band. They did a Paramore poster special, and that was the biggest sale of the year. When they did that, that was their biggest weekly sale. So I thought that would be good if we used a particular well-selling band, and did that. And what I did was had all of the fonts, when it was a band name, it was in big, bold, red lettering to make it stand out, so when you're reading you don't have to, because an audience member for my particular age group was 16 to 18-year-old boys, and 16 or 18-year-old boys do not want to read loads of information, they want to see exactly who they're looking for, and they want to get to that page. So I did that. That was a way of challenging the original media texts. Another way that I developed my ideas was by using a double page spread, and what I did was I used a Q example, and Q have a question and answer session in every one of their issues. As the 2-page spread, there will be one of these examples. There will be the photo of my one on one of the slides near you. Coming to a slide near you. Yeah, and it was one with the photo, which was the key focal point, which I thought grabbed the reader's attention because it shows you who you're looking at, who they're talking to. If you're interested, you're going to go straight to that thing. And I did a Valentine's Day special because another one of Kerrang's lead issues is the Kerrang Valentine's issue. And I had a question and answer session with an imaginary, albeit rock star, and on his views of what he does on Valentine's Day. And I thought that challenged the kind of conventions, because other than Kerrang, magazines don't tend to do that because of their audiences aren't interested in it, but it challenges the way, because it wouldn't be the typical thing to find in a 16 or 18-year-old boys magazine, find a Valentine's Day feature. However, I did it because I wanted to, it's something that you don't see very often, so I thought, oh, okay, that's something different, it'll grab the attention of the reader, and it would grab my attention if I was the key audience. If I read it and thought, oh, okay, there's a Valentine's Day issue, let's see what this rockstar has to say about romanticism. Yeah. Those are just some of the ways that I challenged, developed, and used already existing media texts.